Let's talk about what 8 hours of screen time does to your eyes. Today we're going to discuss what happens hour by hour, not just to your eyes, but to your brain. Because the retina in your eye is actually brain tissue that's extending outside your skull. So when we're fixated about 18 inches from our eyes, we're not just straining the eyes, we're straining the brain. 80 to 90% of children now have myopia. This is a condition where they're having trouble seeing in the distance, okay? Myopia. When I was a kid, we didn't have that. Why? Because we didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have screens. So today I'm going to show you what happens hour by hour, but then I want to show you what to do to counter this. The real problem is a little muscle in your eye called the ciliary muscle that controls the lens of the eye. So the only job of that tiny ciliary muscle is to change the shape of the lens to allow you to focus far away or near. So if you're looking at like 18 inches or 12 inches in front of you, it's like you making a fist, not just temporarily, but for 8 hours. So go ahead and make a fist right now and hold it there for 8 hours. Let's see what happens. Let's get into hour by hour. The first hour of staring at your computer, what happens? The squeeze begins, but you really don't have very many symptoms because that ciliary muscle can contract and hold a certain position for a period of time. Let's go to 2 hours, right? Your blink rate crashes. So normally when you're outside looking at various things, you're blinking about 15 to 20 times per minute, okay? But as soon as you start looking at a screen and you don't have that depth or the peripheral type movement of your eye, that blinking goes down to 5 or 6 times a minute. That blinking reflex is a physical pump that coats your eye with protective moisture. And maybe you might feel like a little burning or kind of something in your eye at that point, but that's what's happening. Your eyes aren't getting the proper lubrication. All right, hour 3, static lock mismatch. Way back in the day, our eyes were designed to look far, close, left, right, all over the place, everything in 3D. Now they're very, very static. And there's a lot of cognitive load, but your physical eyes are fixated in this frozen state. So that's a big mismatch. So what this is doing, it's creating a strain on the nervous system and the brain. And you're going to start feeling mentally tired, okay? So a lot of people ask me, what supplements do I recommend? Now, of course, I'm not biased of my own high-quality supplement line, but if you go to Amazon and type Dr. Berg supplements, you'll find more information. All right, hour 4, the retina starts going dark. Let me explain. When bright light hits the retina, it triggers a very critical neurotransmitter called dopamine right there inside the eye itself. And dopamine has many functions, but one of the big functions with the eye is it's actually a structural job. In other words, there's a pigment in your eye that triggers dopamine that controls the shape of your eyeball. And what controls the pigment is lux. What's lux? That's bright light. Now let's do a comparison. Going outside in the sun, what is the lux or brightness of that sunlight? 100,000 units versus inside your office, 300 to 500. So you get a lot more lux when you're outside. And this is what our body was designed for and evolved from. It's even more important for children to be outside being exposed to this light. And I'm not talking about looking directly into the sun, but I am talking about allowing that sun to get into the eye. And this is why people that wear sunglasses are creating another layer of deficiency of that bright light, because we need that bright light for several things. Number 1, to trigger dopamine to create the normal shape of the eyeball. Number 2, to control the circadian rhythm, being able to go to sleep at night, sleep through the night, and wake up feeling refreshed. And number 3, if you're deficient, it can create seasonal affective disorder. And this is why people during the winter get depressed, and so they might end up stumbling on buying a light that they sit in front of an hour in the morning to get this intensity of lux so they can actually reverse this depression because they're deficient. They're not getting out as much. Hour 5, focusing muscle locks. What is that? When you contract a ciliary muscle for 5 hours in a row, held in continuous contraction, the eye doesn't just get tired, it begins to lose its ability to let go. This is a clinical problem where even when you stop looking at the screen, your ciliary muscle is still stuck. It can't turn off. So it's acting like a cramp, like you would get in your leg. At 5 hours, they might take a break and start looking at other things and like, wow, I need my glasses. I can't see that well. It's taking longer and longer to adapt to focus on certain things. All right, hour 6, the balancing system. Sitting behind a computer, your head is kind of fixated in one location and the distance is fixed as well. This is why so many people, after a period of time of sitting there looking at the computer, feel kind of like out of it, dizzy, disoriented, that type of thing. Hour 7, shrinking tunnel. What does that mean? When you are outside navigating the world, there's all these things in nature that you would look at. But when you narrow that focus in, you collapse the peripheral vision, okay? So instead of operating at 180 degrees, you just only have this 30 degrees of focus. And so your sensation of peripheral vision is way down, okay? Especially over years of doing this. And then at 8 hours, we start developing damage with the shape of the eyeball, and this is called nearsightedness, in which you can't see far away as much as you used to. They did an experiment with kids, and they had them spend 80 additional minutes outside per day, and the myopia statistics just plummeted with these kids. And so we know what myopia is. It's not a mystery of how people develop it. All right, let's talk about what to do with this, okay? I can't just not work on the computer. This is what I do. I research information for videos. I'm sure you have to do computer work, but what can we do to neutralize the damage? Maybe you've heard of this 20-20-20 rule before, where every 20 minutes you would look at something 20 feet away, which is the exact distance where there's no more tension in the ciliary muscle, for about 20 seconds. While that's a really good concept, it's kind of useless if you've been doing this for a period of time. It might be a good thing to maintain your eyes, but for most people, that's not going to even be close to what you need to do, okay? It's going to take a lot more than just a 20-second shift every 20 minutes. If you only have time for one thing, you need to do this. Step outside for 20 minutes every single day. Leave your smartphone at your house and let your gaze drift wherever it goes, okay? Don't try to focus on anything. Just walk into nature for 20 minutes a day. Walk on uneven ground, on grass. I do this every single day, a little more than 20 minutes, but it's very therapeutic. Every 60 minutes, look completely away from the screen, outside your window, directly at the open sky, if that's available, or something 20 feet away for 2 to 3 minutes. Ideally, every hour, you should go outside and look into the sky just to get your eyeballs completely relaxed. But not only that, to allow that lux to go into the eyes. This has nothing to do with vitamin D. This has to do with resetting your circadian rhythm. And while you're out there, I would blink 10 times slowly, deliberately, to lubricate the eye. I've done another video on this topic. I've had people try it with massive success, and it's so simple and it costs you nothing. It's getting out at 8 o'clock in the morning or around that time and just being exposed to the sun. And when I say being exposed to the sun, just letting a little of the sun get into your eyes. Don't wear sunglasses. Don't look at the sun directly. Just let it get in there for 20 to 30 minutes every morning, and watch how your sleep is influenced by that simple action. In the winter, if you can't go outside, get a Lux light and turn it on for 30 minutes in the morning right next to your computer. So a lot of people ask me, what supplements do I recommend? Now, of course, I'm not biased of my own high-quality supplement line, but if you go to Amazon and type Dr. Berg supplements, you'll find more information.